刚接触的就是在然后
任重道远，他讲出来就是经典都会比较对啊，然后我也是这样被 suffer 过来的。
所以我就说，这个东西就是蛮感动的，台湾的东西过去，那我觉得，看看他的。
所以现在在那边离你们，
第一个，
那接下来他会有什么？就是天年要转天年，
我坦白讲，他们
他说好，因为那个如果他是有个 C 或者 D 在那边的概念，那你转到别的地方去，就重新再算。就没办法这样，对 Ken 来讲，看你有多 honor，OK， 看你有多 honor，对不对 ？Yeah。OK，
然后就知道了。
每天OK， 道理。先累积开始。Yeah， 因为这个时间，因为你需要有钱。occupation， 还有一些生活的 yeah， 现在这个东西是先带着，再有，再做好，因为继续可以啊，前面我有拿到，就 boring， 清楚，对，就让不能去拿那种偏远，OK， 最先一般的，对，那我担心有点多，然后后来我说那好了，你这样搞，我们本来一开始都谈好，对，就教育部我跟你说不行，对，我说你台湾有多少可以去拿到这个？对啊，但后来来不及，正好。就把挖进去，所以我就说以前就是挺，但是现在就转成多看，但是光就这个学校要是进去，OK， 所以他们就是对提前都得做，对站出来，其实我们5个行的，你们呢？我快要死了，而且还然后所以我就想要跟老师一样，在课上自己实验，呀，那我们可以做。而且你要带，不可能就说学校已经带水，对，不可能，对，学生不积累好的，然后我老师在这边他们看自己轻一点，对，他们就2个月如果我想不开的，怎么想不开？这就想开，对，先试几天可能吃，现在那边至少已经很 secure， 一下可以来，然后再来继续买更好的。因为我现在比较在教育，因为主力在在准备教育。OK， 因为不过这几年不太好，就是教育所以我是去年拿的，拜拜，没关系，因为我对去年多出来就是不会好，很想对吧？大家可能发挥好，可能就去MIT 而已，NYU 啊。很两挂，还是找我一回去他就然后我在安利，刚好被去到去年的时候，结果开他开缺吗？没有。对啊，我说你开缺啊，去年你开缺啊，我好像没开缺啊。对啊，那我就说那你好像没有用啊。那我说那真的还真的没缺。没有，当时我没有特别想，我就想就不知道，但是老师就保姆我就是写，因为你回来就可以做是啊，我是大学生嘛，就是啊，真的很累耶。我昨天才有啊，他就叫我去那个我也晕倒了，没有叫我陪他走，还好，就是都同学现在很难受，因为我跟他们走，想要被他改变，结果说好了，结果没去，他也没帮你去，没有，他只帮我确认有没有去。A 是他也有啊，是那个主任就是我们主任老师，对啊，主任我们新教师，但是是主任那个是 去的3年，对，他是我硕班学弟，对，对啊，硕班学弟，然后他后来就去 UCLA 那边念博班，对，然后先去芝加哥大学那边念然后再去 UCLA 那边 PhD， 他现在的话毕业之后好像立马就拿到那个 offer， 在那个CSU， 就是那个 California State University， 然后在 State University， 对，因为他有很多分校，还有什么 Sacramento， 对，然后他现在是在那个布里斯班。
他是California State， 然后我找我。我妈，我必须要给你，我知道他会 State， 哇，那很优秀，
非常优秀，然后就是被我们老板，就是说老板一直怂恿他一定要回来家教书，然后结果呢，海到你开去。设备，然后我在美国，那从学校幼儿来对，然后呢，我念完那时，然后就直接就进行那个PhD，然后呢，当时台大就是有个说的叫欧，我就看你冲的，最后来后，我还以为他们是中女男生，因为他们那时候有些gender issue，没有，希望学校很多老教授， 很难说。
对，那后来他就是我后来至少我不管你至少6个需要英语的那个，因为我觉得我们表达都还是结果呢，他写了一个在他已经毕业1年了，因为还在学校，画画就很太劳累了，在研究中2年，然后他又太劳累，我后来是有点，我也是算了，我不要那么大的成就，小命要。是啊，这个不要是，因为这个领域的人很少，所以他们一教授这个做，我一开始都答应，他就答应说不行了，我都没睡饱，然后好像带我不下去，所以我后来说不行。然后那个人没有伤心蛋，所以他后来是跑去佛光，就是看人都来台上，但他的老师从德国来，他带他去佛光大学，然后因为可能让那几天跑出去，他的知道云端了，我讲的，听过啊？对
这我就不知道了。就听他们听一些那个 CNN 消息。
OK， 各种小到小的。
对啊，那我建议我都讲的是真实的。
主要是有些话题，所以我讲中文。
那是用英文讲，但是用中文。对啊。
应该是9年前或者10年，2014。对啊，而且马上找到教职，不用当流浪博士。
Okay, you have 2 master's degree and 1 PhD degree, and the 1 is a bachelor's degree. Okay. So National Catholic University have a bachelor's master's degree, and Chicago have a master's degree. Oh my goodness! And then California, Los Angeles have PhD. Now you are California State University. Okay.
我会先介绍一下。对啊，那我就不要开幕讲介绍先讲一下。
我们对，我经常讲过，所以我们就会先让崔老师讲，好不好？好，那我想可以开始。
这没有申请台湾一样吗？有 National Taiwan University、National Taiwan No University、National Taiwan 对台湾什么东西？
哎，台湾有品牌。Okay, hello everybody. Okay, hello everybody. Thank you very much for your participation to our university, to our department activity. This activity is held by the Department of Diplomacy and International Relations. Today we plan to have ask to organize come over here to share their job experience and also how they plan their career. And before we jump into this, I think the regular activity that we plan, and also say we are very fortunate, and today we have some special guests. That's Professor Matusli's friend, Trey Yongxun 教授. And I think I will let Matus have a short introduction about this professor. And the professor will share his experience. If you are interested to apply to study in the United States, I think he can share a lot of, offer you very good advice. Okay, now that's Professor Wu Ji have a short introduction about Professor Trey Yongxun.
是等一下Okay, so welcome to all of you. So thank you for participating with your lunch. Okay, so today I think it's our honor to have Professor Trey. So he is Taiwanese and now he is teaching in the US. So today I'd like to invite him for a short briefing. If you are going to apply for the graduate school in the US, or if you are interested in his school, so what should you do, or what you have to pay attention. Okay, so this is the background of Professor Trey. Okay, so he got his PhD degree in UCLA in economics and management, and also he was my junior in National Taiwan University when he was studying the master's degree in National Taiwan University. Now he is teaching in the California State University at Fullerton. And also, he is the director of the external relations at that school. So today I invite him also to share his experiences, how to apply the graduate school in the US, and also what does the California State University at Fullerton look like. If you are interested in that school, so you may have more information about the school, including the departments, the majors, the programs at the school. Okay, so now is the time to welcome Mr. Trey. So I would like to have your big hands. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I think this is a relatively small classroom, so I try not to use a microphone because I never used to use a microphone. So okay, everyone back there. Very well.
You might stand here.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Stand here and then so everybody can hear.
So I assume everyone can hear me clearly.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for Professor Lee, for the director, and for the chair at the Taikong University for inviting me here and do a quick briefing about my department. So right now, as Professor Lee has mentioned, I'm a director of external relations at Cal State Fullerton. So my goal is to acquire as many excellent Taiwanese students come over to our program. But before that, I want you to think about what we plan to do after we graduate from undergrad. The biggest reason is not you have to come to the master program in the United States, but what's your career plan going to look like in the next 5 years? So I think many of us, including myself, face 4 different kinds of challenge when we decide to study abroad. The first thing, or top priority, is the money. Everything is going to be expensive. So like, the tuition, the living expense might be very high. So this kind of prevents us from applying for schools. The second challenge is about the English proficiency. I don't think that's going to be a problem for our student here in Taekwondo University, but that applies to many other students. They are struggling, okay, maybe I need to get a TOEFL of 100 points, or like outset for like 7 point, I don't know. So this could be another challenge. Another challenge will be a career plan, because many of us, including myself, when I graduate from undergrad, I don't know what to do. So taking a master, or start to find a job, or something else. But last but not least, or I should say the most important thing, is you need to think about whether I really want to study abroad. Because I'm not sure everyone here, but including myself, when I start to plan to study abroad, I need to think about, okay, will my family okay with that? Will my boyfriend, girlfriend care about this? Or if I really want to live abroad, because like in Taiwan, we have delicious food, we have boba tea, we have a lot of interesting things. But abroad, well, you can still get some boba or dumpling with a very high price, or you have to be used to having hamburgers, fries, or cooked. I mean, some people are okay with that, but some people feel very uncomfortable. So you need to think about whether I really want to go study abroad for these four, from my perspective, the four challenges. So from my personal experience, when I decided to study abroad, expense become a very severe challenge. So what have I done? What I do is I try to get money from government. I get a government study abroad loan and taking the study abroad exam, so I can get some scholarship. And besides that, I also email, or I should say bug, the professor up there, because I'm asking for opportunity to be their TA or be their RA. Because getting the TA RA opportunities will able to give you some life support. So I still remember when I was in Chicago, I kind of bombed about 10 professors. Yeah, about 2 of them replied and gave me an opportunity. So what did I get? I get tuition waiver, so I paid 0 for my master's degree at U Chicago, and also I become a TA, so I'm able to fool undergrad students like you guys at U Chicago. But that provides me enough money to pay my rent and pay my living expense. But to do so, you need to think very clearly and know that, oh yeah, this is my time, I need to bomb these professors. And about the English proficiency test, it's a little bit embarrassing to share this fact, but guess what? I take more than 10 times TOEFL exam because my English sucks. I mean, now I'm kind of using my stock English to teach undergrad at California. But before that, I never get a score before above 80. I know, I'm not sure if you ever take TOEFL before, but 80 is not very high score. So it takes me 10 times to reach 80. And even I get 80 when I get to the United States, I don't even know how to get a hamburger from McDonald's. Because like, what they told me is the accent, everything is very different, you know, so what do you want? I don't even understand what they're talking about. So I kind of be stunned, like, number one. Oh yeah, and actually I don't like number 1, but I can't think about number 2 at that time. So I kind of eating like my chicken for like a month. But regardless of that, my English proficiency got improved significantly after a month, because I have to get my daily routine, my daily expense, all with America. So from my perspective, English proficiency will always be a challenge, but it's not going to be a challenge of score, but a challenge of courage. So if you are able or you are confident to get the hamburger from the clerk at McDonald's with multiple attempts, then you should be satisfied with yourself to live or survive in the United States. And last is the career plan. Because many of Taiwanese students, because I live in the United States for more than 10 years, many Taiwanese students I've met, they kind of feel like, oh yeah, after I graduate, I need to get a master's. if I am affordable, then I should get a master there. But what should I do after I get a master? They have no idea. So they start to think about what should I do after they get a master, after they graduate. But this is not how things work in the United States. Because master program normally is very short. So it didn't give you enough time to think ahead. Besides, as a foreigner to study there, most of us want to land on the job. They want to earn US dollars, right? So if you want to get a job at the United States, you need to get yourself prepared. But given most of master program is only one or even 2 years, there's not really enough time given you have to take care of your academics, you need to take care of your living expense and all these kind of things. So if you are not able to think about your career plan ahead, then it will be kind of like a waste to study abroad. So, but this is always a challenge. But the determination is something I cannot have, because determination is basically on your preference. So you need to think very clearly, okay, I want to bring my boyfriend over there to study with me and do a house tour. Or maybe we just want to stay in Taiwan and live happily ever after. But this is your choice. So for Cal State Fullerton Master Program, and also as a junior of Professor Lee here, I actually can offer some advantage for Taiwanese students, especially students from Taiwan University. First, it's a tuition. So for Cal State Fullerton, our tuition is about a third compared to other schools. So my alma mater, UCLA, or my wife's alma mater, USC, our tuition is about 1/3 without any deduction. So our normal tuition is 1/3, well, it's about 26K to get a degree. But other than that, as a director, I have some power, I have some resource. So I'm able to give some students tuition reduction in half. So with that being said, it's about 13K. And other than that, because we trust Taikwan University's education and Professor Lee's recommendation, right? So if you're able to take about 3 courses, related course, in either economics or management or any business-related courses, we're able to give you tuition waiver about 90K. So in that sense, tuition shouldn't be a big problem. And also, you'll have resources for government loan and these kind of other resources. So that can severely lessen your burden on the tuition part. And moreover, I need a lot of students to help me to grade the exams or do the research. So as the hourly wage at Cal State Fullerton, student research assistant or teaching assistant normally get $500 to $2,000 per month. So that can cover most of your expense. So this is the reason I'm doing so is I want to prevent you from feel like, okay, tuition is a big burden. The second challenge is about English proficiency test. As I said, no matter how high you get the TOEFL, well, it's still going to be a challenge when you sit yourself in front of the McDonald's in the United States, right? So, given that said, I feel like this proficiency test, the score doesn't mean much. So again, using my power, magic power, as a director, I'm able to weigh this. So as long as you have the score, and you can convince me you are able to get a hamburger from a McDonald's in the United States, then you're free to go. You're free to come. So don't feel like TOEFL score is very challenging. And also, I know technology has advanced. So normally we have to take TOEFL or LSAT, but now we allow people to use Duolingo. I'm not sure if you're aware of Duolingo, but Duolingo also provides this kind of English proficiency exam, so that the cost, I think, is about half compared to TOEFL exam, and you don't have to go to any classroom. The only thing you need to do is sit in front of your computer, and you can get your score within 2 minutes. So the reason I'm doing so is trying to let you know, okay, English proficiency shouldn't be a challenge, but it's something you need to improve once you are in the United States. And last, the career plan. Because most of us, knowing that the salary difference between Taiwan and the United States, so most of our undergrad, their first year salary as a freshman, either as a price analyst or associate, would normally lie between 60K to 120K, depending on the industry. So it's about 3 or 4 times of Taiwanese wage. And some of you might ask, okay, the tax rate could be high. Well, that could be true, but it's only applied to if you earn more than 100K. But according to the first year salary, that shouldn't be a problem to most of us. But if you earn more than that, well, then you can worry about that kind of thing. Like if you earn too much, then you can hire an accountant to help you to deduct the tax costs. But even the salary is high, our graduate normally can land on a job. And especially if you are from Taiwan or from Taikang University. The reason is in California, especially in California State Fullerton campus, there are a lot of Taiwanese companies there. So it's very easy for you to get a job because they prefer to use the Taiwanese students. So in that sense, you don't have to worry about your future after you graduate. So this is a kind of quick introduction about our campus and our program. So, and I know many of you are worried about that. I'm not a major in economics. Don't worry about it because we are looking for cross-discipline students. So as long as you have taken some economics or statistics, then that will be fine. I know I have to shorten my introduction, so I will try to wrap up within the next 30 seconds. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me or Professor Lee, so he can refer your question to me. And also, just a quick reminder, I provide a QR code there, supported by my school. So if you are able to answer a quick survey, you are able to enter a lottery and to draw $3,000 7-Eleven gift card. And we have provided 3 opportunities. So thank you very much for your help. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any question you want to ask Professor Trinh? Okay, I think you still can contact him if you have any further question. We can mail to the university and you will forward to the Professor Trinh. Okay, thank you very much for your coming, for your information. And now is our activity that we plan that we are going to do today, and we invite our previous student graduates, I think 2 years ago, and one is Yan Zhenxi, Harry Yan, and the other one is Tang Jiacheng, Jason Tan, and Harry Yan actually right now she's China Airline Ground Cruise. So I think today she's going to share his job experience and also what is her job plan, career plan. And I think Tang Jiacheng, Jason, and right now he's working for the FedEx. The FedEx is an international shipping company. It's a very huge international company. I think he's also going to share his experience. But there's also one good news for Jason. Jason actually now he got accepted by the State Washington University in St. Louis. Sorry, because there's a lot of Washington different university the name St. Louis. Okay, so I think maybe you can also ask him how to apply the graduate school. Okay. Now I will give my turn to the board members. Okay, Harley. Okay, and I think my plan. Okay, Harley, come over here. My plan is 2 of them probably have 25 minutes because I think the professor occupied 25 minutes to do this presentation. So finish their presentation, then I will open the floor for the Q&A. Okay, now this microphone is a little better.
Hello, hi. Okay, before we start, I wanted to thank Professor Chan for inviting me to come back here to give this sharing. And for me, it's kind of awkward because this is the first time that I come back after graduate and to do this sharing. So yeah, kind of nervous. And before we actually start, I have a few questions I wanted to ask you. Is there anyone here? Is all of the students here are senior or junior? Seniors? Junior? Sophomore? Freshman? No freshman. Okay. So today I will basically focus on how I pursued my career, and I'll talk a little more about my work experiences in China Airlines. And okay, let's start. And okay, I will firstly give you a brief introduction of myself. So this is my name, and I prefer you to call me Carly instead of my Chinese name. And I was a student of DDR, Department of Diplomacy of International Relations. Student of DDR, raise your hand. Yay! And I was also a member of DDR Student Association. You are also? Yay! And my position is Chief of Certification. So, quick questions. Is Stanford University still asking you to do the quad studies?
Yeah.
Yay! Thank God. If they cancel this policy, I would be so jealous because this policy is really driving me crazy at that time. And so, if you participate in this event, is also qualified for no? Okay. No, okay. And currently, I'm working at China Airlines as a ground staff. And yes, this is my MBTI. And before graduate, I know seniors, right? So, what do you feel about being graduate?
Mixed emotions. Happy, nervous, excited.
Yeah. Do you feel like a little bit anxious? Yes. What's your name? Josanne. Where from?
St. Vincent.
Oh, St. Vincent. Yeah, one of my classes also from St. Vincent. And okay, thank you. And before I graduate, the emotion that I feel most is anxious, and my anxiety starts. My anxiety is kind of started quite early, not just before the graduate. Back in my sophomore year, I don't know, I think the exchange program starts, the application of exchange program starts at the beginning of sophomore year, right? And at that time, I also applied for the exchange program, and I wanted to go to Stockholm University in Sweden. And everything I do, the documents and the interview was already done. But at that time, something happened. It's the pandemic things. Yes, and which is made me feel really anxious. And I don't know if any seniors also feel anxious. Like, yes. So I wanted to tell you one thing is that it's okay, you're not alone, because I feel so nervous waiting for you, like in sophomore years because of the pandemic things. The pandemic things basically just mess up all of my plans. The original plans was to go to study abroad for 1 year and then come back, and then maybe I can through the exchange experience to find something that I'm really interested, because I know that I'm not going to engage in a job that is related to diplomacy or international relations when I was in sophomore year. Sorry, professor! And as I mentioned earlier, the pandemic things forced me to change my plan. But this changing is kind of worse than the anxiety, because suddenly I feel I don't know what to do, because the original plan, maybe I was in Sweden happy, free, but suddenly I don't know my direction, I don't know what to do, and I don't know what I'm really interested in. I feel lost, anxious, and I feel useless because I don't know what can I do in the future. So during that slump of me, one of my friends just told me one thing that I think it's really important to share to all of the students who feel lost or who feel don't know what to do, who cannot find the direction so far, is that you have to use a different angle to see the things. Because at that time I was really focused on what can I do, what do I like, and he just started to say, why don't you just figure out what you don't like first? Maybe it will be more easier for you to find your direction in the future. And so I followed these suggestions and kind of a dumb way because I just listed all the industry and deleted the things that I don't like, for example, engineering. Oh my god, I'm such bad at electronic devices. I'm so-called the stdydhch. So engineering is definitely not the field that I'm interested in. And deleted all of the things that I don't like. There are a few options left, and I choose the aviation industry, and also there are a few options on my list, but the most interesting is the aviation industry. So why I'm going to choose aviation industry? The first thing that I mentioned, I've been focused on what did I really like. So I think when you are pursuing your career, this is one thing that's really important because if you just like somebody pushing you to do something you don't like, you'll feel painful. And if you're choosing the job you don't like, that means you are kind of pushing yourself doing something you don't like, and that will be even more painful for you. So the first priority for me to choosing my career is whether this job attracts you, is the job description that you can accept. And the second thing that I take into consideration will be the pay. So yeah, everyone will be take into consideration. Your pay is this paid can afford for you to afford your living. And the third will be the distance problem, because if you choose, if you are not able to go to it's really hard for you to go to the destination that your work is a location at, so that will be also paying for you choosing this job. And last is the value. So this place is in Kyoto, and this is, I think it's Osaka. And because working in airlines company will also have the benefit for you to go out every single month. So I think this is a benefit that attracts me the most. So this is the reason I choose aviation industry. And for the preparation of interview for airlines company, I think the pandemic still lasts for a long time, and at that moment, this is one of the challenges when I applying for ground staff, because the pandemic still happening and the government, we don't know how long the situation will last. And at that moment, no airlines company are recruiting when we are in junior year. Because I wanted to find an internship that is related to aviation industry, but there's no any companies that were recruiting at that time. So I decided I don't want to sit and wait for the opportunity to open. So I choose to take as many courses as I can when I was in junior year. I take 23 credits in junior year. So I think that's really hard, but for me, I could have more time to prepare my interview when I was in senior, because I think I only take 2 classes when I was in senior. So you will have more time, more space for you to prepare, because preparing for airlines interview is a really, really long period. And you have to prepare so many things. Even though every airlines company in Taiwan, their interviews system is kind of the same. They will ask you to do the resume and maybe have 2 interviews, and then you will know the results. Okay. So, and I when in seniors, the pandemic thing is kind of getting better. The airlines company starts recruiting, and I remember I applied for like 5 companies. Airlines companies. There are foreign companies. There are also domestic companies. For example, EVA Airlines and Starlux Airlines, China Airlines. And foreign company, I applied for Japan Airlines, Qatar Airlines, and I think it's Singapore Airlines. Yes. So this is the timeline of preparing. I think it's because some of the company they reject you at the first section. So I don't put the company's name up here. But these are the companies that I really get into the interview section. So the first one is Japan Airlines, and the preparation time is like 4 months, and Qatar Airlines for like 3 months. China Airlines, because I get into the final interview, so the preparation time will be longer. And this is what I wanted to tell you is that when preparing, not just in this industry, when preparing your interview and your resume, it will take so much time for you to prepare, and it's really complicated and annoying, but because you have to face the document every day, and you don't know, you have to find the motivation, you have to find the connection between you and the job, and you have to study the background of the company, and you have to worry about the interview because the questions are so many. And the way that I prepare for airlines company kind of like, I'm using a dumb way to prepare. Like, I just search everybody's experience because I didn't take the even the airline company has the crown school for you to study, but I don't think you have to spend money for that. So I just search on internet like everybody's experiences and what kind of stage you have to face. For example, Japan Airlines is the ground staff of Japan Airlines. I think is the most strictly interview in the world because they have first the resume section, and the second section is interview. The third section is interview, and the fourth section is interview. So they have 3 interviews for you, and these 3 interviews you will meet different levels of supervisor in Japan Airlines, and each interview will last 30 minutes to 1 hour, and it's a group discussion and group interview. So it's really nervous when preparing Japan Airlines interview. And for Qatar Airlines, because it's a flight attendant, so it's kind of different, slightly different with the ground staff. The questions will be different, but the basic questions simply the same. So I recommend you one thing, just when you prepare your interview, the basic question, you have to prepare well. So what are the basic questions? For example, why you choose our company? This one is the basic questions, but it's the hardest question to answer. And all of the HR, they are so in love with this question. I don't know why, because every single time you will see the experience like on the internet. Some people didn't really be asked by these questions, but every time I participated in an interview, the first question was always why you choose our company or why you want to apply this position. And this is important to find a connection and to find a connection between you and this company. The motivation that you wanted to apply this company, and also a company wanted to know how much you know about their companies. The supervisor will be really satisfied if you can say something that happens maybe recently, especially airlines companies, they're so involved in asking the news about their companies. So when preparing interview, this is really important for you to search on internet or asking someone who was working in the same field. Yes. So yeah, this is what I mentioned. When preparing your, not just aviation industry, when you're preparing your interviews, you have to study the company's background. And I mean study is really study deeply because in Taiwan, I think in Taiwan, in Asia company, the supervisor kind of like, I don't know if this well because they really want to brag themselves. So if you study their company really deeply, they will be so satisfied and they will be impressive. So this is kind of a tip for you guys. And the second one is the job description. You have to read the job descriptions very detailed because you have to find the connection between you, your motivation, and the job description. Okay, and following are 3 little suggestions I wanted to give you, not just because today there are other, not just senior students, but the junior and sophomore years. During your college time, I hope you can find something that you're really interested in and don't be hesitate because I kind of regret when I was in college I didn't really explore the world and I kind of regret I didn't choose to do the exchange program, even though, because at that time the school didn't really cancel. They gave us another options is to postpone our exchange program to junior years, but it will only give you half of the year, yes, half of semester. Yeah, but I reject the suggestion at that time. I reject the option because I wanted to be graduate on time. Because I don't know if you know, is there anyone who go to exchange when you're in sophomore? No? No? Okay, because if you go to exchange, the credits that you get during your exchange didn't like fully be the credits when you were in 10 comp because some of the credit needs to be approved by the professor of your department. Yeah, so I think it's kind of risky for me because I wanted to graduate on time. And that is why I took so many courses when I was in junior. And the first one is in improvement. The first suggestion for you is the improvement. I want you to not just choosing the courses that your department gave you. If you just like me, you are so sure you're not going to do the things that you are majoring in. Like I'm not going to do the things that is related to diplomacy in the future. And you find something you're really interesting and you go choose the course. You use every single resource you can get. So I wanted to apply for education history. So I took courses of the practical English of aviation when I was in senior, and also the tourism courses when I was in junior. So you use every single source that you can reach and to let yourself learn more. Yes. And the second one is the exploration. This one is kind of like the third one because the second one and third one, I wanted you to participate in club activities because that is something you can learn something other than in classes that you can learn, and that could give you more experiences and you can, I don't know, maybe you can have more, you can accumulate more critical thinking during your participation in the club activity or something. And also, that's really important. Your resumes definitely need the activity outside of school. You cannot just write things that in school. It's not gonna pass the resume section. So you have to participate in more activities outside of school and yeah, that your resume could be perfect. And this is some words I wanted to give you, because when you are like me, a graduate, you will face so many rejections, like the other companies that I didn't really apply, that I even rejected. You will get so many suggestions, some bad words, good words. I want you to be open-minded, to take the good advices, even though sometimes you feel like you are already doing very hard working. You're trying so hard to get the result that you want, but sometimes people will give you some suggestions, and maybe it will really confuse you at first. But I want you to be open-minded, to think it as a different way. Maybe next time you can do the suggestions they suggest, and maybe things will be good. And initiative is the things that I learned after I get in China Airlines, because all of this we will have 3 months training when we are past the interview, and in those 3 months, all of the supervisor will like score you. If you fail, you can pack and go home. So that 3 months is kind of painful, because you have to do everything very initiative. You have to be so active to let your supervisor be impressive. So the initiative is really important when you in the working field, because the supervisor will remember it, even though they don't know your name, but they will remember, oh, this person can give this company good sides, good yeah, that will be really helpful for your future in this company. And last, when you feel lost or feel tired, just go relax, because it's really helpful. I am convinced that relaxation can refresh your mind and give you more time to think your next step. Yes, and China Airlines is recruiting now, so if you wanted to apply to China Airlines, join us. Okay, thank you.
So I will let Jason continue, and then have time, and then we will have a Q&A session. Jason, please go ahead.
Let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Jason. And first of all, I'm truly happy to be back here. And today I'm going to share my journeys over the past 2 years and as a EDR student. And let's give a self-introduction first. And I'm also a DDR student, as I mentioned. I'm class of 2023, and recently I was admitted to the Masters of Supply Chain Management program in Washington University in St. Louis. And I'm also currently working in the Import Clearance Department at FedEx Express International Taiwan branch. And today I will divide my speech into 3 parts. The first thing I will mention is my work experience as FedEx, and the second thing is like my journey applied to a graduate school in Washington universities. And finally, I will give some advice if you want to study abroad, to go to grad school, or if you want to just enter the workforce. And the first question people want to ask is why choose supply chain and why study abroad? Is that some people might think that it's kind of a job, there's a person who study diplomacy and end up working in like a logistic companies and finally choose to apply to master's program in supply chain. And actually, I'm always interested in international affairs since college. I also have a long-standing desire to study abroad. And there was a thing that when I was in high school, I joined a exchange program. I studied at UCSD for 2 months, and it's kind of a huge impression for me to study abroad and leave, have a free education environment. And unfortunately, during college, because of the pandemic, I was originally want to apply for the exchange program at TKU, and for me that was a huge regret. And I would say that if I had the chance to study abroad, I would go for it. And why supply chain is that because it's nowadays like supply chain is kind of a trendy things right now after the pandemic and globalization, right?
Let me see. Chị ở má nó máy. Dạ, chị ở má nó máy.
The field of supply chain includes from production and to final delivery to raw material sourcing,